What about like good or bad DM as far as like advice? Or like does it not matter? Because I've heard a lot of girls also say like if the guy's good looking and like he could say whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
Like,
First thing, if I see 20 girls in a row on your following list, the first thing I see, like automatically, you're out.
I have a
there.
teammate, broke his finger, the bone was protruding from the finger, kept playing, like finished the drive because he didn't want to leave. Got the surgery and then like put a pin, whatever, like a week or two later, like he's back in, put like a thing. Baseball, dude's like, break a nail, you're out like 2 months. It's insane.
Why does every guy have the same lines? I don't know. Have a little personality. Like just the I suck at DMs is the stupidest line.
I didn't know people
I've
were sending that.
Yeah, so what is that podcast called? It's called like Momentum.
Guys are getting injured, so it's like, it's weird though, because you always have to be on standby. So it's like, you can get a call at any point. It's like, hey, you're on the next flight.
You gotta go.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, last week it was the one.
Really?
And I was like, it was between me and another guy.
Mm-hmm.
So my agent's like, all right, like get your stuff back. Like, you might be there in like a few hours type.
Stop.
I'm like, all right, like, you know, I'm ready to go. I'm going to be here. And then I'm like scrolling Twitter and it's like, oh, your sign, so. I'm like, oh shit. Well, no. That's the other guy. Yeah.
It is so cutthroat, honestly, but it's crazy because like I follow a couple like NFL couples on TikTok, and one of the couples like talks about how like the turnaround is like it's like that, and like you get cut from one team, the next team calls you in 3 days later. It's just constant.
You guys are rolling and good to go whenever.
Cool.
Sweet. Let's do it. What's up? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice
Finally.
to meet you.
Yeah.
This was really on the fly, but I had to ask, what brought you to New York?
Content.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm just trying to record some episodes.
Yeah.
While I'm training, because we were talking about the whole football thing, where like you always have to be on call.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing the podcast, like I said, for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have some stuff backed up in case I do get the call. Like say it's next week or the week after that, and I'll be busy all season.
Yes.
So that way I can just have a bunch saved and hopefully put out.
You'll be on the go. So you're a content creator, athlete, and you're just kind of running the parallels with the lifestyle.
I mean, I guess that's the new thing, right?
I love it though.
Everyone's...
No, it's actually like it's a whole niche on TikTok. Like the athletes that have like TikTok, especially pro athletes, it's like a whole thing. And the more that you can show on there, the more people love it. I mean,
I think it's good for like so many guys make more money off the field than they do on. Because like the contracts aren't guaranteed and aren't the same as like a baseball or basketball contract.
Yeah.
So it's like how much value do you provide for like a Nike, Adidas, or like any other brand?
Of course.
So it's a guy like Juju Smith who like went to SC as well. Like he makes probably 2 or 3x what his NFL salary is.
Because he's great at content.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So he knows like the whole TikTok thing, the whole Fortnite, whatever. So it's like
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Should we do a little bit of an intro? Actually, should we?
Sure.
For people that don't know who I am.
Yeah. Overtime, Megan.
Hi guys. I have to forget to not look at cameras. What should I start off with?
What do you do? Yeah. Who are you? Is that your real name, Overtime Megan?
I was actually born Overtime Megan, and then my parents were like, this seems a little weird, but Overtime started as a company, and they're like, oh no, this is great, we'll snatch her right up. But my name's actually Megan Eugenio. I grew up in Boston, and I moved to New York 5 years ago when I was 18. I'm 23 now, getting there, guys. But I've always loved sports. I've always been really passionate about basketball specifically. I don't play sports though. I'm really bad. I don't have the coordination. I look really lanky and awkward doing anything relatively athletic. So I always told myself, I was like, I want to work in sports one day. But when I was like, 10 years old, when I really got into like basketball, so sports media, what it is today, obviously didn't really exist. Like social media was a thing. Like there was like Facebook, Instagram had come about in like 6th grade. But all of this stuff that we do now, like being a content creator as a career, that didn't exist. So I didn't know what working in sports meant. And for it to end up being this was super crazy. But I started working for Overtime 5 years ago when I was 18. I sent in my resume. I was like a little office hand at the time. And then about a year in, TikTok was created. And they were like, you need to hop on that and be like one of the first, girls talking about sports. And now there's so many. It's a huge community now. But I feel
you just blew up on TikTok.
Yeah. And so I think I was one of the first girls talking about sports specifically on TikTok. And just doing sports related content, me going to games, showing my life at overtime. Because I was 19 when I started TikTok. So for everyone to be like, who's this girl working at this like sports media company? Like, what is she doing there? And that's when I got signed as talent. It became
which is probably old
career.
for TikTok now, kind of. Now it's like 16, 17.
Yeah, now it's like 13-year-olds are on TikTok. But at the time, I was 19 and I was like, I'm just gonna hop on it. And I think I gained like 150,000 in my first month in like August of 2019. So that was pretty crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, but for like the time, that was a lot. And nowadays, it feels like everyone has 100K on TikTok.
Yeah, and so it was all what? Sports content? Like you're dancing? Like what are you doing?
Okay, so my company actually had me start out. They like sent me an example of a TikTok.
Okay.
And it was a dance, and it was like the "Why are you so obsessed with me?"
Okay.
It was like that. Are you familiar with like
no,
the dances?
I don't.
Oh, I just embarrassed myself. I bet a lot of people who are
Did you
OGs.
actually do that one?
Yes.
No. Is it still up?
No, I deleted it. It's really bad. My first
Chris will
actual
find
TikTok is still up.
It's in the archive somewhere.
It was a transition. Is he looking it up?
Yeah.
No, my first ever TikTok is still up there. That was my second one, the dance one. I deleted it and I was like, I can't dance. Like I'm
Was
lanky,
it just awkward?
I'm awkward.
Yeah.
I'm only good. I did all-star cheer. I can just do flips.
You
and
could
I can
dance
lift
though
people.
if you're a cheerleader or were a cheerleader.
The dancing is very like sharp. It's not fluid. Have you ever seen like all-star cheer? It's like like it's like punching.
Yeah, but if you can do that, I feel like you can transition into a different. Or is that totally different?
I think it's.
Totally
I know.
Really?
I mean, I
don't know anything about dance. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I clearly don't either. It did not look natural on me. I was only good at all-star cheer, and that's
okay.
it. And so I posted there, and it was just so crazy because I didn't know, like, getting views was like new to me. And my first video, I think it has like 1 million. Actually, I don't think it has 1 million views.
Your
I think
first
it has, like,
video got 1 million.
No, I think like now it has like a lot of views.
Okay.
I think at the time I got like 20K views in like the first hour, and I was like, 20,000 people.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine that people like looked at me that way. And it was just such a surreal feeling because I think everyone when they're little always says they want to be like famous.
Yeah.
So to me, that was like my first glimpse of like a big audience looking at me, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I haven't stopped since, but now I just do it all in sports.
So at what point were you like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do full time? Was it like a few videos in, you're like, yeah, I could do, like if I continue this trend, I can like really make it?
Well, I didn't even know, like I didn't even think about it that way. It was my company that brought it up. They're like, hey, like you could be talent. And I was like,
oh, because you were behind the scenes at first.
I was just kind of like an office hand because I was like 18.
Yeah.
I was doing like, I was mailing out merch to athletes. I was like organizing like addresses of our athletes. I was doing like managing social media accounts for like our CEO. I was doing the most random stuff. I even took out the trash all the time because no one else wanted to do it. And I was obviously the one to do it. So I was just doing little things until they like looked at me and they're like, you got a lot of energy, kid. Just put that out there. And so that's when they signed me. Is after I got like a couple of followers, they like gave me a contract. And that's when I was like, now this is a career, which I didn't realize it could be a career. Even when I started TikTok, I didn't know. Because I think unless you were like an influencer before, like no one knew you could like live off of TikTok. Yeah,
it's definitely like a new thing. I heard, weren't you guys trying to do a 7-on-7 thing as well for football?
OT7, yeah.
For football though?
Yes.
Yeah. So I met with one of like the head content guys at Overtime while I was still in school, and they were kind of trying to pitch that whole idea of like, because I mean, you guys are huge in basketball. That's like number one, right?
Yeah, basketball's number one, and then we've been...
You're trying to get more into the football game, it seems like.
We've been diverging, and our new thing is like creating leagues. So we have Overtime League, which is our basketball league, which is wildly successful. OT7 is fairly new. I think we just finished season 2 of it, but that was pretty crazy. So what was your experience with like talking to them about that?
No, it was cool. My agent just set it up. It was like a Zoom.
Yeah. Do you remember
some guy? Yeah, Mark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Cone.
Mark. Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
He's great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was cool. And I guess at the time it was a relatively new thing, and so I was still playing college and still like kind of doing that whole thing.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it sounds cool.
That's awesome.
Love what you guys are doing.
And for you also being an athlete and doing content and stuff, when did you realize, you're going the athlete route, and then when an injury hits you, how do you feel? I mean, you have all this opportunity outside of being an athlete. I mean, obviously you're getting better every day. You're recovering. I assume you're still doing the workouts and everything.
Yeah. No, I'm healthy now.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you still always have to like keep an eye on. It's your ACL, right? Or
I tore my knee.
Your
my
knee,
Achilles. My Achilles was the last one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The Achilles is the worst.
Oh, it's the worst.
The most painful thing ever.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And
But
it's the hardest to recover from too, because it's so hard to strengthen your calf. Like it's, I mean, thank God I play quarterback and not like a receiver, like cutting. But basketball is really tough too.
I mean, you have the hardest position.
Yeah.
You have to know.
Thank you for saying that,
little-
because I've had so many
Yeah.
arguments with people who don't think that.
What? They need to watch Quarterback on
QB,
Netflix.
yeah. Okay, so I'm thankful for that show, because a lot of people are like opening their eyes to like how difficult it is.
Yeah, I meant to actually.
And obviously I'm biased because I play quarterback.
Of course. But it is the hardest position.
Yeah.
It's and that show definitely opened it up. I watched it on the plane the other day. I
Really?
loved it. But back to what I was saying, I kind of trailed off
I need to
a
watch
little.
it.
Do you feel like it takes a certain personality of yours outside of being an athlete? I think athletes are usually so media trained and just so used to just kind of following the path. So, I mean, doing social media, does it kind of open you up a bit more, you think? And like, how has it really transformed you as a person overall as well as an athlete?
I think it's kind of changed, like especially if you're the quarterback of an NFL team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Patriot way is like super bland. You have a certain way you're going to talk to the media after a game, like a press conference. And like we've all done those kinds of interviews where it's like, you know, you win a game, you lose a game. It's like, we're going to take it 1 week at a time. Like that kind of cliche. And I mean, it's like, it's kind of overrun. There's noise out there.
Music out there.
And I don't know. It's like, I don't know if that's really what people want to hear, I guess. And then guys like Draymond are going and talking, just saying whatever they want right after games.
Mm-hmm.
The Kelsey show we were just talking about,
which is so good.
Yeah, I heard it's really good. And so like it seems like that's more accepted, like actually having a personality.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're gonna talk shit about your opponents like 24/7.
It doesn't have to be that personality.
Right.
Yeah.
But at least like saying something, like showing who you are versus just being like a robo quarterback and just saying like whatever they want you to say.
It's so amazing because like people, I think all these teams, every pro sport, you know, hockey, baseball, football, basketball, they're all realizing that the personification of their players brings in a whole new audience. It really like gives a face to their team, gives personality and a voice to their team more than just like you said, like the robot interviews. Like I can do an example of one. You know, it's a great organization. It's a great group of guys. We put it all out there in our field, and it's all in our heart. And we'll do it again next game. We'll see how it goes. That's exactly what it sounds like every post game interview. And people like they don't want to hear that anymore. And it's just this whole creative freedom in the sports world, which I appreciate so much because then people like me who obviously don't play sports get to have opportunities in it. And there's so many hats to wear now. But I mean, when did you started this podcast? You said like 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years.
And you told me the reason why was because give me the whole story again. Give me the whole spiel. We did a little off-camera talking before, but I want you to really say it.
So it was like, okay, you're familiar with NIL, right?
Yes.
So this was like 2021, I think, when it passed. And so we started the podcast actually before that. I didn't know that California would be one of the states that would allow it as soon as they did, because at the time it would be Florida. And so I tore my ACL and I was like, I just got with my buddies, like we had so much more free time, or at least I did. Because I'm like, I'm not practicing, I'm doing rehab, I'm still like putting in work, but I'm not like dressing up, going to games and stuff and watching tape, which require like it's just so much time. And so I was like, all right, let's start the show. Let's do it with my teammates. There wasn't really anything that existed in that space for college at the time. Like no active college player was doing it. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And it was so much fun.
And that's where it came to be. And that's what
and then NIL hit after that. So it kind of just worked out. It wasn't because of it. And so, because a lot of people started because of NIL, because obviously there was a lot of like money opportunities and whatever. But it was just fun. Like I just love hanging out, like talking, like just locker room type, shooting the shit like with like cool people, interesting people.
Yeah, so and I mean, you definitely have the personality for it, which makes it so easy too. Especially if you're good with talking on camera, it's like everyone should have a podcast. I know there's a lot of people like post on their podcast, and everyone in the comments is like, "Why does everyone have a podcast nowadays?" But there's an audience for everything, especially college football. The most diehard fans.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's always like usually alumni. It's always like the grandfathers that have the crest on their shirt, their polo shirt, their golf shirts, and you see them out at the airports in the city or at the games, and it's such a huge audience, and you definitely tapped into that.
Have you been to any games like in the South, like any SEC games?
No.
Oh, you have to.
I know. That's
you don't
my
like football,
goal.
huh?
I like football. I like
Do you?
football. It's not one of my main sports that I don't know all the stats of football. I can't name you every player in 5 seconds like I can with basketball, but I do enjoy watching all sports. I have a love for all sports. I usually sometimes will say my preferences, but football season is definitely like, it's a memory growing up. Like having the sounds on the TV of like the intros and you listen to it and you watch with your family. So it definitely holds a special place in my heart, especially being from Boston. My parents always had the Patriots game on. And I'm a New York fan though. So I'm not really a huge Patriots fan. I do Jets and Giants. I'm not too biased.
Isn't that like sacrilegious?
A little bit. But I also support Mets and Yankees because I don't really.
Is that allowed?
To me, it's allowed. I think when you work in sports, you're allowed to support multiple teams. Everyone's like, bandwagon. I'm like, no, I just love New York. And this is what happens when you live
That's weird though, because they're rivals. That's like, I'm an Ohio State and a Michigan fan. Like that doesn't really make sense.
I mean, if you just love sports, you just love going to all games.
Okay. So you don't have any like allegiance to one specific team. It's just anyone in New York.
Well, I do for hockey and basketball. I do love the New York Knicks, obviously, die hard, and then the New York Rangers are my team. So those two teams I will defend.
So those are your top two then?
Yeah, I will
basketball
die on that
and
hill.
hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do love football games. But like that's the one thing.
You got to go to a game in the South, I think, or any college football game, but especially like an SEC, like 4 o'clock. It's nuts. There's nothing like it.
And you going to schools like that, and just also seeing the large. I went to a school here in New York City, like Pace University, so we didn't have any sports. So
zero sports.
Like no, like there's no sports. Like in the city, it's just like all finance bros, so it's all business. So I missed out on that. So like what first of all, what game should I go to? If I'm going to go to my first SEC game, what game should it be?
Well, I mean, I went to Vandy, so I don't know. It depends. Like I would go to like any kind of like a Bama, like any game. So Saturday they do like college game days. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that? So it's like the biggest game on any like given weekend.
I see on social media. I see
all right, yeah, there you go. So it's like any of those, like any SEC game, honestly, is going to be insane.
I need to do it. I want to wear the team colors and everything. I got to pick a school.
Oh, it's nuts.
I want to be on the field. And it's so amazing because any college game is so fun. Like I go to March Madness and things like that. You get to see all these guys before they go pro, which is like it's such like a malleable, what am I even saying? A formative time in their career where you get to see, you know, how they play before they make it to the big leagues, to the show. And I think that really sets the tone because that's what all the people are talking about. That's where all the buzz comes from. And then they get to the show and like, that's where it like takes off from there. But that's where these guys like get like, nowadays, especially a lot of younger guys in college get like a lot of clout before they go into the pros. Like back then,
especially basketball.
Yes.
Which is kind of wild.
It's so crazy.
Because you're 16, 17 and it's just.
You have 1 million followers.
Yeah. I kind of want to ask you, because you're involved with basketball a lot.
Yeah.
My theory, because I train at my facility, there's a lot of basketball dudes and also football. Mm-hmm. My theory with basketball is that because there's a starting 5, obviously, you're 1/5 of a team. And if you're like a top 20 guy, say, like you're almost the whole team. Like you cannot, like that's make or break. Whereas in football, it's 1 out of 22 starters. Mm-hmm. Unless you're like Pat Mahomes or something, you're not making that big of a difference.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that kind of gets ingrained into dudes early on where like basketball dudes do whatever they want. Like I've never seen anything like you'll never catch an NFL dude, or I mean, I actually know some, but on average, you'll never catch an NFL dude like going out the night before a game. In basketball, that's like, if you don't do that, then like you're off. Like everyone's going out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
which is insane. And like like you could do whatever you want if you're a star basketball player. It's insane.
It's a little bit. I think it does depend on like who you are and how you're perceived. But some guys do definitely take it a little more serious. Where like they live and breathe and die by their sport. And then other guys are like, this is my job. I'm good at it. I love it. But I'm also gonna have balance in my life. So I've seen both spectrums with players where they're live and die, or they're like, I need the balance, otherwise I'll get burnt out. And so like it's crazy. But like I said, like before they're even making it to the pros, like back then where they used to get famous by going pro, you're famous before you go. And then you have all this pressure on you. And what if you actually don't live up to it? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, at least you can make money now, whereas that wasn't legal before.
True.
And so, I mean, that's a big plus. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think it gets in your head, especially like if you're a top 50 basketball recruit. Mm-hmm. You're getting offered like what? I don't know how much overtime's paying, but like schools are probably giving you like at least close to $500,000.
Yep.
And you like I said, you could literally do whatever you want. You're the whole team. Like the team can't win without you.
It's crazy. But
and football is more like the culture of if it's all team oriented. Whereas basketball, it's more individualized.
It's
like football is just a team game. Everyone has to come together. That's the culture. It's like you have to buy in. It seems like again, it's just more individual, which is cool. Like I'm saying it from like an envious position. Like I think that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're also speaking from a quarterback position, so I see everything that you say makes a lot of sense. But you know what? Oh my God, I had a great point. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh,
You're good.
That's where the test of time really stands up, though, with
like guys who make it?
With the hype. So you're either really hyped up and you take it seriously, use it to your advantage, and you have that very mature, old school mindset of I'm carrying these guys on my back. I'm a part of a team. I'm going to contribute, not just because of my name. The people that I think move silently and what's the term? Isn't it like walk quietly and carry a big stick or something like that? Speak softly and carry a big stick. Yeah, I got it right.
Nick says yeah.
Which essentially means like, you know what you have to do, you do what you need to do, and there's like a more humble sense about it. So I think those players that understand that, how to remain humble, how to have that genuine demeanor with the game, with the sport, and ignore all the outside noise when they're on the court, on the field, on the ice, all of that really speaks volumes. And those are usually the guys that go down as like legacies because they last longer in the pros. They have that personality.
I don't know though. There's so many stars in basketball who just literally party 4 or 5 nights a week.
You don't say the football guys don't do that?
Not like that. You think?
Yeah.
No, it is not. Okay, what sport parties the most? Pros.
I think, hockey.
You think?
Hockey, yeah.
Like night before games, dudes getting blacked out?
Oh, not night before games, but like on days off, yeah.
Yeah, hockey guys can drink.
Yeah, because they're Canadian. Most of them are Canadian. Yeah. They'll drink you under the table because, Canadian.
Yeah, that's like part of the culture for sure.
It's part of the culture. But football,
I can see hockey being number 1.
Basketball a little bit. Baseball, yeah.
Baseball too.
They definitely do.
Because you're just kind of sitting around. You're not really doing anything.
You ever played baseball?
No.
It's a lot. It's a lot of logistics.
It's hard
going on there.
to, not that I don't respect it, but I'm just saying it's just tough to view it in like a positive light when like I'm playing football, like dudes are playing through crazy injuries. Like I have a teammate who last year, he's the linebacker, his name's CV, broke his finger. The bone was protruding from the finger. There's photos of it. I think on film you could kind of see like white sticking out. Kept playing, like finished the drive because you didn't want to leave. Got the surgery and then like put a pin, whatever, like a week or 2 later, like he's back in, put like a thing. Baseball, dudes like break a nail, you're out like 2 months. It's insane.
Well, honestly,
you know what I'm saying? Like what
that's pros, I think, versus
what are we doing here?
Like I think when you're
No, in the pros.
Really?
Oh yeah, baseball?
What?
Because you're playing like what, 160, 180 games or something.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So that's also a big difference.
They get like 0 days off. They get like 2 days off a month. It's wildness. But
yeah, but you're also not doing anything.
You mean like in terms of cardio in the game?
Yeah, if you could be fat and out of shape and play like professional baseball and be really good, then it's like, I mean, like what are we doing?
Yeah, that the sport though is not about. See, every sport has like hockey's about cardio. Yours is about like strength and speed. Baseball is all like
skill.
It's skill and logistics. You gotta just know how to hit the ball fast, and you gotta know exactly where to pitch inside the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're good to go. You gotta know who the pitcher is. You gotta know how he pitches, curveball, all that. And
I get it.
It's a lot
hard.
of like facts. Could you play
baseball?
Yeah.
I bet I could. I've
you
never.
Ever hit a homer?
No, I never played.
Oh.
Why'd you say
that? Baseball boys are gonna come for you in the comments.
I hope they do. I hope they do. It's a non-contact sport. Like it's hard for me coming from football to really like place it on the same level. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different, like, okay, I respect anyone who makes it to that level because like I understand how hard it is. Of course,
yeah.
If you're really good at your craft, doesn't matter what the craft. If you're a really good chess player, like that's really cool because I understand how much time you put into it.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying like, if you're comparing the two, I don't think it's close.
Oh, like athletic wise, yes, football requires weight. I mean, look at you guys. You're all like 7 feet tall, buff,
jacked.
Yeah, like
jacked. Keep going.
And it's pretty much like, if you're under 6 feet, like they consider you a little guy in your sport, which is wild.
It depends what you play, but yeah.
That's true. Well, I mean, I think isn't there isn't Braxton Berrios, who he's in like the media a lot lately? Isn't he like only 5 foot?
Brax is.
He's a QB.
Can you look at how tall Brax? He's what, 5'9", 5'10"?
It's I know people are talking about him for other reasons, but sports wise though,
did you see
I
what
saw
happened?
some comments about like him in his position. So
he's 5'9".
Yeah, see?
Brax, and that's what you're listed
And so
as.
people
it's
consider
probably...
that like smaller in the NFL, but like he's a QB for the
No,
Miami
no, he
Dolphins.
plays receiver.
What?
Receiver.
Oh, cut that out. How did I think he was a QB? I shouldn't
know.
listen to TikTok. I thought
He was a wide receiver.
TikTok
What?
said he's a quarterback.
I thought he was in college or something.
Damn, so that's how much you know about football? I'm gonna have to teach you a little bit about football. It's crazy.
I'm Megan exposed.
Yeah,
No,
what the-
I've definitely
Can
messed
that
up
be
my sports
our the
facts
title
all
for
the
the
time.
title for the YouTube Overtime Megan Exposed? That's crazy.
No, look up if he was a QB. I must be stupid. I thought he was a QB in college or something then.
No, he played
I
at UM.
swear I saw a sports TikTok about him being a quarterback.
This is.
So I
He
definitely
literally played since high school.
I wouldn't have just made that up.
No, you just made it up.
No, because if I saw him watching a game, I would know who's the quarterback. But I've never actually watched a game with him in it.
He was a star athlete at Lesville Road High School, Raleigh, North Carolina, where he played quarterback.
What? In high school?
No,
That's
that's
like
what
10.
I'm thinking of.
That's 10 years ago.
Wow, you were watching him in high school?
No, but
Whoa.
I watched a video of the background of his career, and I heard
And they
the
said,
word quarterback.
Well, he hasn't played since what?
Oh,
Probably
wait,
like 8.
two was the quarterback of Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stupid. I know that.
Yeah.
See,
We gotta. Yeah, but that's like basic. Like we gotta like.
You never messed up your basic knowledge with sports? I do all the time.
Nah, we gotta up your football knowledge. This is bad. My boy's friends with Brax, and we were talking about the whole thing. We're like, either he's gonna have like the best season of all time, or just completely go down into the dumps and just because I mean, like something like that happens publicly, it's tough. You know?
Well, media affect. We can talk about like how media like affects, especially I think being an athlete. Usually the way that most athletes are, if they don't do social media, is that they don't really like to interact with social media personas, outlets, because they don't want to get known for something else besides their athletic abilities or having a good game. Like if they're known for anything outside of that, they usually
you think that's what it is?
I've personally heard, especially I've dated an athlete before, and usually in the locker room, the general idea is to just stay away from any sort of external media that is not about your game. Like if you don't have, if you have nothing to say about your sport, about your game, about anything like that, usually they tell you to like kind of stray away from it. Even if you're having a bad game, they'd rather you talk about that than
really. I haven't had those experiences though. It's interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's like it depends on the organization for sure. Every organization has their own views on it, and whether they express those or not. But I've definitely
depends what you're saying too, though. Because like there's certain things you, obviously like if you're an active player, you can't talk about like a guy who's injured on your team or give away like any kind of game plan stuff. Like those are the basics. But I think outside of that. Or another big one that we had last year with Coach Riley was not giving the other team like bullet board material. So if you're talking shit, you know what I'm saying? So like giving them that extra kind of like oomph to
that, like,
you know what I'm saying? So like always be respectful, whatever, like that kind of stuff.
Well, you're respectful there, but I have to ask, have you ever do you smack talk on the field?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't realize they talk to each other that much because like I just never knew. And watching the quarterback Netflix show, I saw Patrick Mahomes getting really into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't realize you guys talk. I didn't know. Because I feel like I never see anyone.
You just thought quarterbacks don't do it specifically, or you thought in football you don't?
I thought, well, also like quarterbacks like Patrick and Kirk and who else was
it was Marcus
Mariota. Yeah. Like I just and like especially like people like Tom Brady. Like,
Tom talks too though.
Yeah, like you always think the guys that are like the big guys, the big popular guys, the ones that run those teams, the franchise players, you assume they don't do that for some reason.
Really?
And no.
I love it. I think if I had to put a percentage on it, for sure a majority do if you're talking quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because you got to think
who
like.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, everybody.
But like, who are you mad at the most?
Like, it's not that I'm mad, but it's like. Yeah. First, the D-line, for sure. Backers, DBs. But then, so here's the thing. Sometimes it backfires. So, like, I had a game where I was talking crazy. Like, we weren't supposed to win the game. We were, like, maybe 20-point underdogs or something.
Okay.
And, like, this team was ranked, and we had, like, a few-game losing streak. So, like, we were kind of, like, shocking a lot of people. And I'm, like, I'm reckless. I'm, like, I'm going deep. Onto like DBs, backers.
You're on like a high.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
And the crowd's going crazy. So that kind of just adds to it. And you feel like you're just the man. And then, they took it out on me. And then, so it's like, that's the issue with like a contact sport.
Yeah.
You can do like a dirty hit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I slid and then I was already on the ground. The dude just like headshot, try to take me out.
Yeah.
If
or
it's
they
like,
just kind of give you a little punch or something. They can do anything pretty much. Yeah.
And so if it's a clean hit, like I get it. Like if you add a little extra, totally fine. But if it's something dirty where like you're already on the ground or like you're already on the sideline, out of bounds, and it's like, I mean, that stuff does it. I mean, it's the same in baseball. Like if you're talking shit, like you try to hit the hitter.
You hit them. But like how far, I know in hockey, they allow you to fight. They allow you to actually knock people's teeth out until you guys hit the ground. Like how far do they let you go? Like in basketball, you can't even touch somebody. Like don't even touch the other player. You're out.
Yeah.
But for you guys that like can like say stuff and maybe get in each other's face a bit, like when do they step in? And then like when is it like, they're like, all right.
No, I mean, definitely in practice, obviously. But I guess the closest it's gone to getting crazy in the league would be the Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph one where he threw his helmet. Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, like stuff like that. Obviously, like Mason was just talking crazy to Myles. It just, who knows what he said.
But like, have you ever come to that? Like,
oh no, no one's ever swung a helmet at me. But dudes, like even like from Little League, like my dad always taught me to like talk back, but always like have an edge to me.
Yeah.
And so like he'd always put me in the inner city league. So like obviously like just better competition and just kind of you got to fend for yourself. From like a young age, I was like 4 or 5. Yeah. And so I think like A, it helped me with football, but B, just kind of like have that extra awareness and like just everyone's just talking shit. Yeah, exactly. And like the parents even would like start talking shit to you.
The parents are the craziest with Little Leagues.
Oh no, it's insane. It's insane. And so I was like, I always played quarterback since I was little and like you're running around scoring touchdowns. And like I would hear on the sideline, the parents are like, and I would wear number 10. So be like, hurt number 10 or like, just like say like crazy things, like trying to injure me or like, and like I remember because I used to like return kicks too. And I remember I was like there on an island and they were just chirping, like going crazy in my ear. I'm probably like 7 or 8. And I couldn't, like I literally started crying like on the field. No! I remember this. And I'm like, no, like, why are you doing this? And then I gotta like play with like tears running down my face.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it made you tougher.
No, for sure. I mean, that was the idea behind it. And then my dad's like, all right, good. You know, like tough love. You gotta like figure out a way and talk back.
Like you're not just getting the participation trophy. You're gonna like make it and you're gonna get a real trophy and like you're gonna learn how to do this the right way.
For sure.
So like when you were in high school, when you were, you're playing football and then when you made your decision to go, you went to Vandy first, you said?
So yeah, I went to a junior college actually in Kansas.
Which is,
I got my,
because I know that's a route a lot of.
So it's like the Last Chance U show. You're familiar with it? Yeah. You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's that basically. And so Indy was our big rival. I went to Coffeyville, just like a random school. And Independence was like the town over us, big rival. So we were like the camera crew stayed in Coffeyville, like we were like the big last episode or whatever. So I did that whole thing. Went to Vandy for my bachelor's, and then I grad transferred at USC.
Wow. I mean, so you have a diploma and everything? You're all done?
Yeah.
Nice.
School,
We love that.
Yeah. Several now because I transferred a few times. But.
That's crazy. I transferred twice. And I did like 1 year at like another college, like a little college. And then I was like, I couldn't do it. Every college I've gone to is like not known though. It's called like Sacred Heart in Connecticut. It's tiny.
So you started at Sacred Heart, then you went to Pace in New York City.
It's confusing. I started off at Pace. I lost my entire college experience to COVID. So I felt like I was always missing out on something. And so I was like, I want to go to a real school. I want to be in person. I want to like experience on campus life for real, like that I've never had. I went there for like a semester and then I was like, I can't do this. Like it was like in the midst of my career too, where people were like, they're bothering me at school a little bit. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm going back to online. I'm taking a semester off.
Really?
Then I finished online and I walked graduation this year. So I was finally a graduate, but I went back to Pace after. So it was Pace, Sacred Heart, Pace. It's just so crazy. Everyone's college journeys are so wild, but I know I have a strong opinion on education and athletes and sports and just people in general, like finishing education. Do you find it important for athletes to eventually go back and finish their education? Like, do you think it's worthwhile? I know a couple that have.
I think it's nuanced. I don't think it's like you have to or you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, I don't know, if you're getting like a random major that you're not even interested in, but you're just doing to play football, then it's like, I mean, why?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're actually interested in it, it's like, hey, I want to do this after sports,
Mhm.
then yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I think it definitely makes, because, for a lot of people, unless you're a franchise player, unless you're somebody that maybe had 5+ years in whatever your respective league is, I think it's super important to realize like the after the ball stops rolling, after you stop
Yeah.
throwing the football, like what are you after that? And that's like a huge thing. Or if like you have a career-ending injury, God forbid, like all these things after athletes like stop being active athletes on the roster.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to like find your why after. And so a lot of them go back to school, or maybe they start like investing in things. So
Yeah.
like, where do you see yourself in 20 years, like when you're much older and not an active athlete anymore?
Yeah. I feel like I get this a lot. Yeah, what am I doing?
Deep
basically.
questions. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I
can't think
know.
of an answer, it's
now,
okay.
now we're thinking. No. I mean, I think for now, okay, so I do really enjoy the content space, which is like why I'm kind of exploring that, like with podcasts, just everything in that world of YouTube and storytelling, which I think I have a story to tell. So I really enjoy kind of like putting that out there as well.
Yes.
And B, so I started this nonprofit while I was in school called Second Spoon. And then I've been doing it the past like 3-4 years. And so we partner with universities and grocery stores, restaurants, and then we take all their surplus foods, basically all the stuff that they would end up throwing away.
Mm-hmm.
And for us as athletes, it'd be, like steak, lots like really good stuff, and like pans, like pounds and stuff that they're just throwing away. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, and I mean, you live in the city, obviously there's so many homeless people. LA's nuts, Skid Row is like 50-something thousand homeless
They're
people.
really struggling with that over there.
So that's kind of how I got the idea. And we got like a food truck and we went out, started distributing a bunch of food. And so like, I don't know if we're going to continue doing this for like ever, I'm saying, but I enjoy that idea in terms of finding solutions for those kinds of issues, like bringing people together. So the nonprofit space has also been really fun. So,
I love that. See, that's what I mean though. Like having that why and that purpose after is so important, especially using your platform to elevate all the resources you've been given, all the opportunities is so important. I love to hear that. That was a really good answer. You know what? Good
Thank
for
you. Killed it,
I
right?
love that.
Interview. There you go.
That's so crazy. Oh my gosh, I had another question. See, when I get way too excited, then all my thoughts go in my brain. I try to like keep them in a list.
Yeah. Well, what about you though? I'll flip it to you. Like, is it like content creation or is there something like after that? Which I mean, it's like, it's fine if it is, obviously, because I love it. But is there anything else that you're interested outside of that?
Well, I mean, this is all I've known so far, of course. And I did get my diploma just in case, because I'm not an athlete.
And what did you study?
I was in the business school. I was going to go
look at you, Wall Street girl.
I was, keep in mind.
Finance girl. You were talking shit about finance bros. That's you.
I really loved economics. I
studied econ.
What?
I studied econ as well.
Yeah, and I loved micro and macroeconomics. I think a lot of people do. You hated it?
Yeah, it was awful.
Oh my gosh, I loved it.
What? Who the hell likes econ?
Calculating like the GDP
You're lying.
and all
You're
that.
lying.
Oh, it was so much fun. The hardest part was accounting and finance.
You're messing with me.
No, I loved it. Like all the equations were just so easy and simple for me to do. And I wasn't ever really that amazing at math. My mom's probably going to laugh at this because I really suck at math, but I could do that. And it was like really tangible for me.
So it just made like it clicked for you.
That was like the thing that clicked for me. Or
it was the opposite for me. I had to like totally grind through it.
But you got the degree in it.
No, yeah, I do, but I hated it.
Oh, no, of course. No, it gets to the point where you're like just trying just to get the degree. You're like, I don't even care at this point.
Yeah.
So I was in the business school.
I've never heard anyone that's super interesting that was like, yeah, I love this. Like ever. Like, and I mean, I've met tons of people at my school.
The next one's going to be even more wild though, the next thing I say. So obviously I want to stay in sports. Obviously I think when you're a content creator, a lot of people want to go to more traditional media. So my dream is to eventually end up in more traditional media. I love to talk. I think I can put myself more together on traditional media than on content creation. Because on content creation, I obviously have a lot of personality, but traditional is a little more by the book. And I would love to be a little more by the book just because I would love to like share what knowledge I do have. But if that doesn't ever work out, I have my diploma in communications and media studies. I switched it midway through because I was like, this is probably makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But if everything actually did kind of come down to the wire and I really had the opportunity and the time and I was in a space in my life where I could do it, I would love to go to med school.
Actually?
I love medical stuff. I watch Jeopardy and I know all the answers.
Jesus.
Every disease,
You're
every
all over the
condition,
place.
every symptom, every body part I can name. Like I'm super, super good with biology, medical, all that knowledge is so intriguing to me.
But you
And
didn't study it.
No,
You
but
just know from Jeopardy.
I just know also just from like life. I don't even know how to explain it. But I've
What
had
kind
a
of
lot of
medicine?
instances with like, friends having conditions and just learning a lot through like family history, my own doctor, my own research, watching a lot of Jeopardy, like I said, with all the medical stuff. I'm like, why do I know all of this? Also in high school, I loved biology.
Okay.
I loved chemistry, all that stuff. And it just that also seemed to make sense to me. So I know a lot of medical facts.
What
and
kind of
knowledge
medicine do you know, or just practicing general medicine?
Like,
do you have like a specific?
Probably pediatrics.
Really?
Or cardiology.
Working with kids?
Yeah. So either one of those two, I think I'm really good at.
It's a lot of crying babies, though.
Crying babies would be a little
I feel
hard.
like that's your entire day is just dealing with babies.
Yeah, or like being able to give a shot to a kid without making them freak out. I think I'd be really good at, even though that's
You think
the
so?
RN's job. But
I think it would get really old quickly. Like it'd be cool for a week maybe, and then it's like I think it would be stuck in your head just a lot of crying.
I think once if I committed
Sorry,
to being
I have
a
a bunch
doctor,
of young
it would be a
siblings.
lot. It would definitely be a lot and
Yeah.
something different than what I'm used to. But that's like if it comes down to the wire. If I'm like 40.
That's like worst case. So you're gonna
It's
go to
like
medical
not
school at
worst
40?
case, but it's like if I'm like, or like 35. Like if I'm 35.
You know, it's like 10 years to go through that whole process, right? Like
Yeah.
residency.
Yeah, or like psychology. I could probably go something into that. I love the brain. I love all of it.
You
I
love
just don't know.
everything.
I don't know. That's like one of those dreams that like really would probably never happen. But in like an alternate life, I'm a doctor and I love it
Really?
and it's great. And I'm like using all my health knowledge
Mhm.
to my advantage. And I'm not using WebMD to diagnose myself anymore. So like it'd be great. And my best friend's a nurse and I love hearing her stories, even though like some of them are pretty crazy and a little like wild and gross. But like I'm
Really?
like, yeah, tell me all of it.
So you were that girl with like dissections that like just love like cutting stuff up, like love the blood.
That sounds like really scary.
It sounds
but yeah.
psychotic, but
Like the skeleton and
yeah,
stuff.
you love that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the frog just.
Oh, the frog was kind of gross though. Like the pigs were okay, but the frogs were like.
You guys had
"Ugh."
pigs?
Yeah, we had baby pigs, fetal pigs.
Oh, it's kind of cool actually.
You didn't do that?
No.
You do frogs?
Yeah.
I think everyone does the frogs at one point.
Yeah, no. Public school in Florida is lacking.
Bottom line, if Dr. Megan never happens, I'll probably obviously still be in sports.
Just, yeah.
Just
So either
doing my
ESPN or pediatrics, basically.
Yeah, or honestly, I love like hockey, like I said. So anything in the hockey space as well, I would love to do. I would love to be a
You just
hockey
did something with the
anchor.
NHL, right?
I do a lot of like content stuff for a lot of their outlets. So like Bauer is like one of their main brands. So I've done some content for them before at an event that they invited a bunch of hockey influencers to. And then I was just in Vancouver for EA Sports for NHL 24.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just released
For the game?
their cover today. So that's
You're on the
pretty
cover,
fun.
just.
I wish I was on the cover. I did snap it around though. I bought some hockey gear in Vancouver
Really?
because they were like, "Hey, you're gonna get some ice time with an NHL player and one of the other guys. He's a former NHL player. And they're
Okay.
like, they're gonna teach you how to be a pro. Do you have hockey gear?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna go buy some right now." I went and bought a hockey bag, skates, gloves, tape, stick,
No.
a bucket, all that, and I actually went
And
on
have
the
you
ice.
played hockey, or are you just kind of figuring it out on the fly?
I was kind of just figuring it out on the fly.
But you could skate.
Well, I can skate. What I learned being on the ice with NHL players is I don't skate elegantly. And they were like,
Okay.
you gotta do it right if you're gonna skate with us. And so they were like teaching me like how to like move my feet the correct
It's
way.
like a
and make-
different kind of skating for hockey.
Yeah, to like look better. Because I
Yeah.
remember being 12 and doing Friday night skate with all my buddies in middle school. And I was like, I'm so good at this. But obviously I'm 23 now and it does not work when you're on the ice with someone who's
Right,
been doing it
a
since they were
pro.
5 years old probably. So
Yeah.
that's pretty fun. Yeah.
Interesting. And then
Bottom
NASCAR
line.
after that, right?
But what?
NASCAR after that.
NASCAR after that, Indianapolis
Yeah.
Motor Speedway.
How's that?
Was that was really fun.
Yeah.
I love all sports and like racing's a sport, and so getting to see different athletes in their respective ways. Obviously, racers, athletes, not exactly the same word, but
Yeah, it's not football.
it's not football. Racers aren't football, but you know what? Those racing guys get like
No, you're drenched, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
They put in a fire suit. They get trapped inside their thing. They have cooling systems. They have like cooling system in their helmet. They have like a little water spout to drink water because they can't
Really?
take their hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
And some of them lose like 10 pounds in water weight and sweat.
Yeah, I
in
heard
the
that for
car.
F1.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's the crazy. I can't even imagine being drenched in like 10 pounds of my own sweat. I think I would die of like sensory issues. So I'm like, I can't imagine feeling like that in like this thick suit just encompassing.
That's actually
it in.
super common for offensive linemen too. Like a single
Really?
practice, like almost 10 pounds.
No
Well, because they're so
way.
big too, and like
They are big.
They could probably lose that much.
Yeah. No, offensive
They could
linemen,
afford it,
their
but-
job is to literally just be.
Oh, you're drenched. Yeah, if you're
Big.
like 320 in like 100 degrees, like training camp, 2-3 hours in the sun, like you're gonna sweat a lot. With the pads too, which is like another.
But don't you guys get you have to make weight and you pay a fine if you're a pound off, right?
Yeah, it depends on what your contract is. Like a lot of linemen, especially if you're a big dude, you got to stay like under a certain amount for sure.
Oh yeah.
Or
for
if you're
sure.
like if you're a skinny dude on the other end, then they want you above a certain amount or like within a range. And usually there's like a 5 or 10 pound kind of like little
like grace period.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's so crazy. 'Cause
But yeah, I
can't
mean, like they
imagine
keep
paying
track,
that much
like,
attention.
cause you in like training camp, especially before practice and after practice, and they want to see how much you're losing, how many electrolytes they want to give you. Like they
Yeah.
do a decent job of like understanding, cause that's also how you get all your soft tissue injuries too. So it's like you could tear a hamstring if you're dehydrated or whatever.
So they
then-
micromanage all of those little
Oh,
facts
yeah.
about your body. I
your
didn't
weight's
realize it was
taken
that
like
deep.
4 times a day.
No.
And then like if you're under a certain amount, the nutritionist is like on your ass, like eat this, drink this, like you're not leaving my side until like this is down.
Stop.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
I knew about the protein shakes. I've definitely seen some crazy protein shakes made like from like people that I know.
So like guys who need to gain weight, you're saying?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have some friends that like definitely they'll put together the most like wacky concoction and they'll drink
Oh,
it.
it's just
and it'll be,
calories,
like,
yeah.
This big.
It'll
and
be
I'm
like 2,000 calories.
How do
It's
you drink
nuts.
that? That's
Yeah.
like the amount that I eat in a day, which is so wild. Like athlete diet versus normal person
Yeah.
diet. But for you, like specifically, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought again. No, I had a good question. I'm trying to remember.
We're talking about weight.
Yes, weight.
Them keeping track of what you're doing.
Freshman memory. I'll think of it.
Hockey, NASCAR.
It was
fine.
about what we were just talking about, like with nutrition and things like that.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you like a question that I'd probably ask anybody, but like, what was your pregame like routine? Like, what is like your meal that you would have pregame? Because every athlete I think
Ooh,
has like
okay,
the
okay.
same meal that they
Yeah. So almost the best part of traveling, at least in college, was like the dinner before the game,
Mhm.
right? And so for us, like anything you want, like obviously grilled chicken, meat, but we would have like these pasta bars. And so like you can like customize it.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to get like carbs in before a game because you're gonna burn a lot of calories and all that.
Mhm.
And like we had a saying that's like Alfredo wins games. And so it's like you gotta get Alfredo, and sometimes like you could even mix it up. You get like a little marinara, a little Alfredo, like a
little
little
pink
pink sauce. Oh
sauce.
yeah, crazy. Yeah. Yeah, like spaghetti with chicken, whatever, just like as many carbs as you can. And it's like,
Stop.
I mean, I love pasta, it's delicious. And so
Yeah.
it's like your one excuse to like eat bad, I
All
guess.
the food in the
Yeah,
world.
exactly, because the next day like you need it. So it's
I
like
can't imagine eating Alfredo sauce before I'm gonna actively be going crazy in a game, especially being
Yeah.
a quarterback, like wild for you. What
But
was-
like as far as
Yeah.
game day, like nothing crazy.
yeah, game day keep
yeah,
it light. The
yeah.
grilled chicken is like common, but like I
Yeah.
would get so sick of the grilled chicken. I'm not a fan of grilled chicken.
No?
It's like the word like Chick-fil-A, people that wear that freaks me out.
No. Oh well, yeah, I don't get grilled chicken at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, no, who does?
I'm not a
But
psychopath.
it's wild. It's
Yeah.
wild. For you though, another just like this is just random out of left field. I'm trying to remember that really good question I had before, but I can't. But what was like the best moment? What was the moment in your career that you were like, this is why I do what I do? Like what, or maybe it was like a good game, maybe it was like a fan interaction.
That this is why I do what I do as far as playing or like off the field.
Let's go with playing. Like maybe you had, what was your best game, for example?
In college, probably that game I was telling you where I was talking a lot of shit and I got hurt.
No!
Yeah.
Oh, no! Wait,
Yeah.
you got hurt that game, but that was your best game?
Yeah, because like we weren't supposed to win. And so you got to think like, I don't know, I guess you don't know much about college football, we've established. But Vanderbilt.
I just haven't been to a game. Oh, yeah, you see? He's roasting me over here. I think I held my own whole interview. All
yeah.
right, continue.
No, okay, so like Vanderbilt is like usually we're fighting for our lives in the SEC.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of games we're not projected to win,
Mhm.
and like this one in particular, we weren't. And it was cool. It was cool. I really like away games though.
Because you're like just like exploring, and it's always fun to see like other
Exploring?
people's, like you guys see other facilities. I would
No,
love away
that's not what I
games.
was gonna say at all. We don't.
Oh.
No,
What else?
because it's like, okay, it's like 110,000 people and everyone's cheering against you. So it's kind of like this like villain kind of role. And like
The energy is
everyone,
building up.
yeah, like it's so like everyone wants you to lose. And if you win in that environment, it's even more sweet. You're playing the spoiler.
Yeah.
Or like you make a big play, it's almost better just to hear the hush than
yeah.
like to shut up 110,000 like drunk people is a crazy thing. Like literally it goes from you can't hear a single word.
Yeah.
Like in the huddle, literally I'm trying to tell them to play. Imagine screaming as loud as you can and then like you can't listen, you can't hear a single thing. So it goes from that to like crickets.
Well, that's why you guys have like
It's
code
nuts.
words and code movements,
Signals,
right?
yeah, a lot of signals, and then like cadence, like you'll clap because usually like that sound can permeate through like noise better than like a verbal cadence or something like that.
So bad on
Or
the
you can like
field.
raise your knee up, and then it's like there's a lot of different things you could do.
A lot of
but-
signals. I'm so hard of hearing. I would definitely not do well.
Yeah, you'd be like,
on the
what?
field.
That was the one thing like in the league, because in the NFL they tell you to play in your helmet and with the mic, and it's so hard to like actually get the full sentence because it'll be like 25 words and like you just got the install the day before.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone kind of like has their hands here, like because if someone's
They're trying to
talking to
hear
you in the middle, it's like if I'm trying to recite numbers
Yeah.
and then like I interrupt you in the middle of it and you completely forget where you were.
Oh.
It's that I'm trying to really, really focus, and then someone's like, "Hey, man, like, what's my route here?" I'm like, "Dude, shut up."
Yeah.
I'm trying to get like this whole, and then there's a play clock going on as well, so you can't like be.
That would stress me.
just messing
out.
around,
Like
yeah.
I'd be so stressed out because like it's a whole formation. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know the plays. And if I couldn't memorize and everyone's doing one thing and I'm doing another thing, I would just leave. Like I would just walk off the field at that point. But like you guys don't get enough credit for that. I think the memorization part of that.
Yeah.
Like screw
It's
the athletic
the-
stuff. You can be as athletic you want. You can be as muscular as you want. But if you don't have it in here, like
Yeah.
you can't be on the field. It's not for you. But it's so funny because like I actually remember watching a game. There was like energy like that. And you're in like the opposite stadium and like the kicker goes to kick and
Mhm.
everyone obviously, I think it was Super Bowl. It might have been Super Bowl where the energy's kind of like that and then it shuts down. Did you go to Super Bowl?
I didn't.
Why?
I don't know. What was it? February? I wish. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just didn't get the opportunity. Were you there?
Yeah.
Really?
That was the best.
Oh, I
game
didn't
ever.
get the invite.
It was so much fun. That was my first Super Bowl. And Super Bowl, it was the first, I think it was a historic Super Bowl because it was the first time
Is this the one in LA?
the
Where
two
was it?
quarterbacks, there was two black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It was the first time ever. So that was
Yeah.
a big historic Super
Jalen
Bowl.
and Pat. It was a good game too.
Great game.
Yeah.
I mean, the ref kind of gave it away at the end, obviously.
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in the Eagles fan section, so like,
Yeah.
I was switching sides a few times. I love Patrick Mahomes, but I was in the family section of the Eagles. I didn't
Yeah.
wear my thing that I do is I don't wear team gear usually because like I usually just
Because you're overtime Megan.
I'm
You have
just
to be
clapping
neutral.
for everybody at that point, and
Yeah.
I was at one point. I was clapping for both teams, but like obviously I was surrounded by Philly people, and so I really thought Philly was gonna win it at first.
Yeah, I mean, I
It-
thought so too.
It was intense.
Was that your first game?
football game?
Yeah.
No, I've been to Jets. I've been to I think it was like Jets Steelers. I think I've been to one.
Oh, we got to get you. We gotta
no,
get you to
I need
another
to
game.
re-up, but that was like 4 years ago. Like
Yeah,
I need
this
to go to a
is-
football game. I'm going to one on I think it's September 10th, Cowboys versus Jets. I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll
Preseason or regular season game?
I think that's regular season. I think it's
Is
the
that
first
week one? Ooh, that's gonna be
Yeah.
insane.
It's gonna be so exciting. Yeah, I think it's week 1 or like week 2 or something. I don't even know. It could be preseason.
Yeah, are you going for content or are you
I think
just
preseason's
going?
like right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it is
preseason's right now.
But I think it ends right in the beginning of September.
Yeah.
You play football, don't you know these things?
No, I said it's the preseason.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know who specifically the Cowboys play week one.
I just
I don't
know
have the whole
schedule.
schedule memorized.
Really?
Um,
That's shocking. You play football.
actually,
Shouldn't
think
you
I
have the
should?
whole schedule memorized and
Yeah.
every player and all their stats and what socks they wear on game day?
It's actually like a lot of football guys, they don't watch football though.
Yeah. No, I know a lot of athletes don't
They don't
actually-
like actually care about the sport. They just do it.
They don't know stuff that the fans know. I've learned
Yeah.
that. It's a crazy fact. Like,
Yeah, like, guys just don't care.
they don't know.
I mean, like I
every
grew up a
guy.
football fan, so like I enjoy watching
Yeah.
like the game. But there's tons of fans or whatever that know a million times more than me. Like, I don't
Yeah. Because like, well, they know like it's like fan facts, but like
know. Yeah.
I think 90% of athletes don't play like even their respective video game that like they're like I know like a lot of NBA players that like have never played 2K.
Basketball dudes just watch anime. I feel like,
What?
and like, okay, so they play like 2K
Yeah.
Call of Duty and just watch anime, I feel like. And
They
just
always
go
switch
out.
Sports.
And that's
like
it.
they go to opposite sports with video games.
You think they play Madden?
Like the NBA guys will play Madden.
Yeah, a lot of football guys play
2K.
2K. Yeah.
Some play Shell. Baseball guys play 2K. It's like none of them actually play their own sport, which I think is super funny. And then like a lot of them don't even know.
And everyone thinks you could do the other sport too.
Yeah. And it's so funny. They all think like they can like switch off, which is so, that's very.
Okay,
like,
do you think it's easier for a football
man-coded.
player to switch to basketball or a basketball player to switch to football?
Ugh.
Let's get a little controversy going.
I think it'd be easier for a football player to switch to basketball because they have the strength, which basketball doesn't require too much as football. But like I think that turns into cardio. But for basketball to go to football, I think the height plays you at a disadvantage because you might be a little more skinnier than most football players.
Yeah.
And then also
Like as far as taking a hit, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the field length, you're gonna get way more winded. Because like you're just not used to that.
No, so I agree where football would translate better to basketball, but
Yeah.
I don't think from a cardio standpoint. I think basketball is way more demanding cardio-wise.
Really?
Yeah, because you're just continuously running. Like there's no like, I'm getting a play, there's no play clock, like there's no stoppage. A football play is 3-4 seconds,
True.
then you rest. Another like 20-30, then like you go hard for basically 4 seconds.
Okay, well cardio aside.
But I agree with everything else you
the
said.
hits
Thank you.
and the
Contact.
The contact.
Yeah.
Definitely I think would like no. Like some of them like their muscles are so like perfectly toned that if they jump wrong, like their muscle snaps and they pull a hamstring.
In basketball.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
what
you
I'm saying.
guys are
Thank
trained
you.
to take a hit.
Basketball
which is,
guys are
like,
finicky.
It's because the way their bodies are, the way that they work out and the way
It's
that
prima
they're
donnas.
trained.
Say it, prima donnas.
It's a prima donna?
Yeah, they're prima donnas.
What's that?
Like everything has to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like any little injury or like load management.
Now you have the basketball guys coming at you in the
It's
comments.
just bring it. No, but okay, like taking games off. Like that's not in the football culture. Like you play
Yeah.
through, and like
play through,
I
like,
get it. Like
everything.
no, I totally understand. Like you want to be able to be healthy in the playoffs, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of pointing out the difference between the two.
Oh yeah, definitely. Each sport has its own culture and like what's accepted and what's not accepted. And
I'm just trying to
football,
talk shit.
you guys are playing, and I can't imagine. I always every time I see you guys play in snow, I just can't imagine playing in snow because I once
Snow games are fun.
I'm sure it's fun, but like I once got when we were in high school, we won like a contest to do like a 2-minute halftime or pregame show for the New Year's Eve game for the Patriots. And so I was in high school and we bundled up, obviously, because we were able to like bundle up. We're not like football players. And we do 2 minutes on the field. I couldn't feel any part of my body. It was ice cold.
Really?
New Year's Eve. And I'm like, how do you guys
Even while you were
move in the cold?
Yeah.
I couldn't even move. I couldn't even do a backflip. Like I was supposed to do one. My body like couldn't move. And I was like, sorry guys, like this is the one
You're
time
just
I'll ever be on the
frozen.
field for the Patriots performing and my
Yeah.
last because I can't do anything. But that always shocks me. You
Yeah.
guys have heaters though and stuff.
Well, that and you have like coats on the sideline. There's a lot of like other tricks you could do. Like a lot of receivers, they'll put like surgical leg tex gloves underneath
Yeah.
their. You heard that one?
Yeah.
I
I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff.
Vaseline like on your arms that like keeps you insulated too.
Oh yeah, because it's just like a layer of like oil. And
Yeah,
craziness.
yeah.
That's nuts.
There's like tricks you could do, but if you're not playing, you're on the sideline just standing there. It's awful. I mean.
Oh, because you're not like warming up your body. At
Well, it's
least.
miserable. Yeah, it's freaking. And there's like
Getting snowed on.
and it's like the linemen. They never wear sleeves or anything because like they want to tough it out.
They just gotta look
It shows
super tough.
it shows
Yeah.
weakness, I
Yeah.
guess. Then it's like dudes are gonna clown you.
Good for you.
You know?
We
Oh no,
love
not me.
that.
I wear sleeves.
I mean, this is why I just don't even play sports. I just talk about it on
You just-
TikTok. I think this
yeah.
is the most I've talked about sports though in like a while. I feel
Really?
like I've just been kind of schmoozing on TikTok for a bit, just
Doing what?
enjoying. Like I've been like doing sports content in terms of like physically, like it's been a lot of like hockey stuff, me just like snapping a puck around a little bit. But like I feel like I haven't done like a long form content like this in so long. So this is
Really?
nice.
yeah, it's fun.
I'm a fan. How long have we been talking?
Oh wow. What are we at? Over an hour?
About like right at an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
55
Oh,
minutes.
there is a
It's
little.
more like 59. Sorry, the clock a little late.
Oh, okay. You're
Yeah.
good. No, but it's fun. Would you think about doing like a podcast or no?
I have one, but it's not like this.
Well, because I
It's-
saw something where you're just sitting, just you. Where you just like, you're just going, which is a skill. Like I would never, ever be able to do that. Just
Well, I have my producer next to me, but we
So you
don't
just
show
talk to
her. Yeah, she'll talk to me. You can only hear her voice.
From what I saw, it was just you ranting. Though.
It's me ranting. It's not me actually sitting down, which I love doing interview style. I love talking. I used to do long form, and I think I did it. Wait, this is so funny. One episode I did with Juju Smith-Schuster, and he was great. And then another episode I did with Juwan Johnson and his wife, Shannon. He plays for the Saints, unless he got traded and I'm mistaken.
Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny. I actually had 2 NFL people on there. So, but I was doing long form content, and then it's so everyone. I mean, I'm sure some people have talked about it, but like it's really hard to get guests, like to line up studio time, to make sure somebody's in the same city as you, to make sure they're available, to make sure they don't cancel. It's so hard to get guests. So I was like, you know what? Just give me the mic. Just give me the mic. And then I started doing like food content because that was getting a lot of views for some reason. And so I just
like you cooking or you
like I'm literally just like talking about food sometimes, and it's kind of funny. But
are you like a food critic or like what is it?
It's just me and my wild food because I eat pretty crazy. Like
what's crazy?
Like I have a weird palate, like crazy weird palate.
Keep going.
Like I'll eat anchovies straight out of the jar. Like I don't care.
Okay.
Like, it's like. Yeah, it's
that's
like,
weird.
It's weird, but it's like wild. Like I'll talk about like all the weird things I've eaten, all my weird food takes, like, and they're always like true. They're just people think they're gross, so obviously it gets a lot of views.
Oh, so it's like gross stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's like caviar is not gross, but like people online are like, ew, fish eggs. Yeah. But I'm starting to change it into like dating advice. I don't really have like a direction where it's going. I need to switch it up a little bit. I liked long form content.
People
really
like the dating advice
the
stuff.
I
feel like that gets a lot of views.
What?
The dating advice stuff.
Yeah, especially because
people
like,
love that.
You know, it's interesting. I think when like somebody who like I obviously like have talked to. It's
like the caller daddy route.
Yeah, a little bit. And like I've talked to people. I have some great stories of like people that I've definitely gone on dates with and stuff. I will never name drop, but I do give stories.
Like horror stories, you're saying?
And it's never really a horror story. It's more like I gotta get out of here. Like I'm getting the ick. But
like do's and don'ts kind of thing.
Yes, do's and don'ts.
All right, let's go through the icks then.
Oh god.
Since you already started down this route.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, that's what I've been doing on my podcast. But if you have any questions about it, I can give some.
You're not gonna
advice.
go through them, or first thing you see, like when you meet a guy, either that or like certain things, like certain red flags or like icks.
Like right away.
Sure.
Follows too many girls. Check your Instagram.
So that's like the first thing you look for.
First thing, if I see 20 girls in a row on your following list, the first thing I see, like automatically, you're out. And you want to know why I know you're not friends with all of them? Because I'll click on their profiles, and if they're in a different city, every girl, you obviously don't know all these people. They're not from your school. They're not from your hometown. It's a lot of women.
Okay. Fair enough.
Another thing. Didn't really try that hard on the first date. I don't want someone to like dress up.
There needs to be
suit.
effort.
Like just a little bit of effort. Like don't wear like sweatpants on the first date. I've definitely done that though. I'm lying, but like I'm lying to myself.
So you're being hypocritical.
I'm being a little hypocritical.
Okay.
But like not trying that hard, or not even like offering to do something as little as like call an Uber for you. Like you have to like get there and there.
That's like a New York thing then, huh?
Yeah, that's very New York
actually. Because Florida and LA, you just pick someone up.
Oh, true. That's actually very New York.
Yeah.
No, in New York, it's more like I'll call the Uber to your place and I'll be in the car and then I'll take you.
Oh, is that a thing? Like you'll stop somewhere?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Wait, that's actually more New York dating. Like that's not anywhere else.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
That's funny. But like there's so many. I'm actually filming on Wednesday with my coworker Alex. So we're going to do some more dating advice.
A bunch.
But
yeah.
We're going to see what works out. I don't have a long form like this one anymore, but it was fun when I was doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I can talk and you can talk.
What about
what
like good or bad DMs? Like what constitutes a good DM as far as like advice for a guy?
Good DM? I really
like something creative, or like does it not matter? Because I've heard a lot of girls also say like if the guy's good looking, then like he could say whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
Like if she would want to hang out with him, then she would no matter what.
Yeah. Like if I have a crush on you and I think you're a cute person, I'll obviously answer even if you just say hi.
Yeah. What
not to say. And I got this today and I was like, don't say this. It's so obvious. Like they'll do one hi, you do one hi. What's up? Not much. Mm-hmm. Their third DM is almost always, I suck at DMs. Here's my snap or number.
Yeah.
The I suck at DMs is so annoying. Don't say that. So it's just so obvious. It's like you don't even try to get to know me a little bit. It's more like they're just kind of like jumping into it, which is like fine. But why does every guy have the same lines? I don't know. But
So
all
ask
my DMs look
questions
the
about
same.
her then, is what you're saying.
Like just
Like get to know her and then ask for her number.
like have a little personality. Like
Yeah.
just the I suck at DMs is the stupidest line.
I didn't know
I've
people
ever
were sending
heard.
that. I didn't know people were sending that.
I think I got that like 4 times last week. And I was
Really?
like, what? Are you all sharing the same
Everyone's,
mindset?
yeah, interesting.
It's weird, but yeah. The dating life's a whole other story. That's for another episode.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Well,
Should
all
we
right.
wrap it up a
Yeah,
little?
let's wrap it up.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming. That was awesome.
Thank
It was great
for
meeting you as
having
well.
me. Let's do this again sometime.
For sure.
Whenever you're back in New York City, or you can come into the OT studio one day. I'm sure.
I would love to.
We would love to have you.
For sure.
How long are you here for?
I'm leaving either Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm going to shoot some episodes in LA as well.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Any fun
Are you ever out
guests
there on the West
coming?
Coast?
Not really. Not like
East Coast?
I was
going?
in Vancouver and I'm going to Oregon this week, but and,
Okay.
like I was in Seattle like 2 weeks ago, but like
Yeah.
never California.
Interesting.
Ever. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't
No,
know,
I'm
it's kind of like
doing,
the land of unknown for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a zoo. LA.
New York's a zoo.
Yeah, it's like my home though. Like I'm used to this.
You're from
zoo.
Boston or from Massachusetts, right?
The East Coast personality I think only works.
It's
in
a
the East
different
Coast.
personality, yeah.
West Coast, I don't think I don't have. I'm not cut out for it.
Mm.
Yeah, so I stick to what I know, and I
Okay.
stick in my New York concrete jungle.
Oh my God. Well, we'll get you out to LA soon.
We'll get out to LA
And a
soon.
football game.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go to a football game.
Promise?
Promise.
All right.
Woo!
All right. Cool.
Still so
It's a wrap.
pale.